For the State Defense, Mr. Medina, and all of our jurors are accounted for. Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. Have you followed my rules and orders as always?
Yes.
Okay. Jose, if you could have Mr. Chisholm return to the bench, please, to the witness stand. To Coleman, I'm sorry.
Stephen Coleman, yes, sir.
Coleman, I apologize.
There's a lot of names floating around this morning,
That is
so yes.
true. Mr. Coleman, please come forward, sir. Mr. Coleman, will you confirm for me that you are still under oath, having sworn or affirmed to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please take a seat. Thank you. You may begin your inquiry when he is comfortable.
I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. Good morning, how are you?
Excellent, thank you.
Yes, before we begin, let's everybody take a moment to silence cell phones, please. You may begin.
Thank you, Judge. Once again, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
My name's Stephen Coleman. I'm an audio-video specialist. I work for United States Forensics.
Mr. Coleman, at some point after August 8th, 2013, did my team, my defense team, get in contact with you?
Yes, yes.
And what did we ask you to do?
To review the raw video footage of the surveillance camera within the house or apartment.
And do you know how we got the raw video footage?
From the prosecutor's office, I was told.
And, Your Honor, I apologize. I believe Mr. Wasser was using the bathroom and the jurors came in. He's in the jury room.
Ladies, if I can ask you to please stand, I apologize. I apologize for that.
I'm so embarrassed, Judge. I apologize. We didn't realize. Taylor.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's continue, please. Thank you, ladies. Sorry about that. Just making sure you're awake this morning. Okay. If you weren't before, you are now. Okay. So let us continue.
Sorry.
Okay. Off to a good start this morning. Let's continue.
Right. Okay. No place to go but up. All right. So we sent you the raw footage, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And what did we ask you to do?
The review put together, there's a lot of dead spots, obviously. And just any motion that was detected, reflection of a sink, I think was one of them. Reviewed the two parties involved in the footage itself, you know, put it all together.
So when you put it all together, in what I'm about to show you, well, let me do this. May I approach, Judge?
You may.
Do you recognize this?
Yes, this is the disc I made yesterday.
Counsel, do you need to see this?
Please, for identification.
Yeah.
What is this? Can you just announce?
Yeah, A4 for identification.
Thank you.
May I reapproach, Judge?
You may.
Okay.
You have standing permission.
Thank you, Judge. So, Mr. Coleman, what is that?
This is the edited footage from the raw data that just puts it in a timeline to help you view it better.
Now, let me ask you a question. When you say edited footage, at any time did you manipulate or alter the actual physical footage to change it in any way?
No, it's just slice and dice.
And at some points, were you asked to slow the video down?
Yes, that's correct.
When you slow the video down, does it alter or change the actual video itself?
No, it just manipulate. It will copy frames together to make it extend out longer.
So pretty much you're slowing down the video, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And at some points, did we ask you to zoom in on specific areas?
Yes, yes.
Were you able to do that?
Yes, I was.
Did you convert that, see, I'm not a tech guy. I hate to ask these stupid questions, okay? But when we send it to you, was it in some sort of format, like a specific type of format?
Yeah, it was a compressed AVI file. I was asked to make it to a Windows Media Video, so it's playable on Windows format better.
When you do that, do you run the risk of losing any data or footage?
No, it's just a conversion process.
And in that conversion process, does it alter what you actually see?
No, not at all.
Judge, at this time, the defense moves what's been previously marked as A4 for identification into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
So moved.
Defense, see?
Thank you, Deborah.
So what I'm going to do, as soon as Madam Clerk is done, I'm going to go ahead and play these. I'm going to, Judge, may I ask Mr. Coleman to step down?
Yes, you may.
Would you step down on the, I guess, the left side of the television? Unless I need your help putting this in. Start, which you may have. Okay.
Can if anyone, a member of the jury, cannot see the television comfortably, please raise a hand.
Is that better?
Seeing no hands, you may continue.
Okay, so I think what I do is I go to my computer, I double click, and I go to, okay. So let's start. It's reading. Okay. Okay. So, how many videos have you provided us here?
There's 6 of them.
And those 6 videos are the ones that our team asked you to specifically isolate, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And what day, is this the day of the incident?
Yes.
And once again, just for clarification, when you did the conversions and the modifications, by modifications I mean slowing down the video or zooming it in, did it alter the video in any sort of way other than slowing it down and zooming?
No.
Let's go to the first one. Let's right click on this. Now I open it with
Yeah, Windows Media.
Windows Media Player. Okay, perfect. And what is the date that shows on the top left corner of the video screen there, sir?
That is 8/8/2013.
And what time does it show?
8:28 p.m.
I'm sorry.
I mean 7:28 p.m. Sorry.
Well, do you know if it's AM or PM?
No, it doesn't. The timestamp says AM, because like military time, but it seems to be off.
Okay. And I noticed that at this point it seems like it's moving slower, correct?
Well, what this is going from camera to camera, so you can follow what's going on.
Okay.
There's 3 different cameras. Actual time of the recording, so it's not slowed down.
I'm sorry, I thought it was because the...
It's a 5-minute sequence.
Okay. Go back to that real quick. Back to the 54-second mark in the lower right-hand corner. What do you see? Coming on. What just happened?
He jumped back.
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
Now you'll agree with me, pause it. In the sink area, I'm going to draw everyone's attention to this area. The 129 mark, I'm going to draw everyone's attention to the sink area. Mr. Coleman, without giving an opinion, what did you see in the video itself there, in the sink area?
Objection, calls for speculation.
Only if you know, sir. Do not guess or assume.
I'm not asking for specifics. Basically, what did you see there?
Movement.
I'm going to pause this. Let's go to... I'm going to go to the fourth video. With, and I got to go to Windows Clear, correct? Windows Clear. Now, what have you done here?
That's just a zoom in of the sink area at the same time that you pointed out earlier.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. And all you've done with this area is you simply magnify it, correct?
Attention leading.
Oh, sustained.
What have you done with this area?
I zoomed in on that area.
By zooming it in, does it alter the actual substance of what's being seen
No,
in any way, shape, or form?
none whatsoever.
Is that the loose point? By zooming in on... There we go. All right. And this is a magnification of what we just previously said.
Attention
correct?
leading.
Sustained. Open-ended questions, please.
What is this, a magnification?
Of the sink area from the earlier video.
Really sorry. Formatted it for
Windows.
Windows Media. Okay. That was just a, what was that? Play it again.
Judge, could I just ask, I'm sorry, Mr. Zangadeh, please step back, I can't see the screen. Would you mind?
Or if the state needs to reposition themselves, they may.
Hit the delete button or just move over.
And that was just a, what was that? No, I'm not asking what happened. What did you create there?
It's just a clip of the area where the person jumped back.
Okay. And what did you create here?
This is this same clip, slow motion.
That's why. Sorry, I keep forgetting. You gotta remind me. So this is in essence the same thing slowed down, correct?
Exactly. There's a 3-second clip and that's a 30-second clip, so it's tenfold. So.
Okay. What is this? What did you create here?
Kind of the side-by-side of the first two videos that you showed, where this is the actual video and then that's the zoom. We can compare the two together.
Here. So this goes till after 7:34, what's marked on the video, correct?
Exactly.
So you capture side by side surveillance at the incident location during that time period.
Yeah, because the Zoom doesn't have the timestamp, so if you put them next to you, you can see the time.
Right. So just to confirm, what is this specifically?
The zoomed in area of this sink right here.
Okay. During the same time period?
Exactly.
What is it? Nothing further.
Cross-examination?
Good morning, Mr. Coleman.
Good morning.
How are you?
Excellent.
The company that you indicated yesterday that you work for, actually today, U.S. Forensics?
United States Forensics.
United States Forensics, okay. You're not affiliated, though, with the U.S. government?
No.
Are you? You're a private company, correct?
Exactly.
All right. And you received these video files in AVI format, is that correct?
Correct.
And when you converted them, when you were asked to do the work that we just saw portions of, you converted them to a Windows Media Player format, correct?
Yes, some computers won't play that compressed AVI correctly, so in order to play it correctly, I convert it to Windows format.
Did you have to compress it further in order to convert it to a
No,
Windows Media Player?
I expanded it so it wouldn't lose any compression whatsoever.
Okay. So let's talk about the video a little bit, and I'm going to cue it back up again.
Do you want me to move on?
You can stay there for now.
Okay.
And we can just get it working here. Okay. Now, Mr. Coleman, why don't you step down, and I'm going to ask you to take a look at what we're looking at. There is the initial video that you titled Sequence of Events, correct? And that essentially is a portion of each camera going chronologically in order of where the various people are moving, right? So initially we see basically the last moments of Miss Alfonso's life on this video, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Right. And you'd agree, based upon the angle we're looking at there, that a lot of that takes place off camera, off view of the camera, right? And not much of what occurs in the kitchen can really be directly observed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the camera is positioned in such a way as we only see a sliver of the very corner in the kitchen counter and sink area, right? And when Jennifer and Derek are in the kitchen, for the most part, they're off camera. Their bodies are off camera. You would agree with that. And we get occasional glimpses of Derek, but nothing more, right? Now, I want to ask if you could just start the video, and I'm going to ask you to pause it in just a moment. Pause, please. Now we're at timestamp what there, sir? 7:28 and 45? And we see now Jennifer here coming down the stairs into camera view, right?
That's correct.
And she's by herself, correct?
Yes.
And she does not appear to be attacking anyone, correct?
That's correct.
She doesn't appear to be bothering anyone, right?
That's correct.
And you can't attack someone if there's no one around to attack. You would agree, correct?
Beyond the scope.
Sustained.
So Jennifer initially comes downstairs. Mr. Medina is nowhere seen in view, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right, now continue playing the video, please, sir. And if I could ask you to pause it once more, thank you. Now, at this point, we see Jennifer going to the front door, right?
Yes.
Right, and she appears to open the door briefly and then close it again, correct?
Yes.
Could you please continue the video? And if I could ask you to pause it again. And we are now at timestamp 7:29 and 0 seconds DVR time, correct?
That's correct.
So after we just saw Jennifer open and close the door, we see her then go immediately back into the kitchen, right? And you switch the camera view back to what's labeled channel 1, which is the hallway in the kitchen, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and again, still no Mr. Medina has been seen up to this moment. You would agree? Okay. And Jennifer is still just in the kitchen by the video by herself, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, at some point, as Jennifer is in there by herself, Mr. Medina comes into camera view. Is that correct?
Yes.
Please continue playing the video, Mr. Coleman.
Judge, respectfully, sidebar.
Please pause
Pause.
the video.
Thank you.
moment. You may be seated. Randy, okay? Let's use that technology since we got...
Mr. Coleman, could I ask you to step back to the monitor? And what is the timestamp we're currently paused at for the record?
7:29.
Okay, let's go ahead and continue playing the video, please. Please pause. And we are currently at timestamp 7:30 and 06, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, now what we saw there was what you were referring to in your direct examination as a jump back video, right?
Yes.
You took a portion of that out and you specifically edited it for the defense, and the defense played that portion, right?
Yeah, I removed it. Yeah.
Right, and that was one of the videos we saw during your direct examination that was slowed down, right? Because they asked you just to slow that part down, right? Okay. Please continue. Pause, please. What is our current timestamp?
7:32 and 36 seconds.
Okay, now question. That part where we appear to see the male in the video exit the kitchen, were you asked to do any special enhancements to that part of the video?
No.
Okay. Pausing the video at 7:32 and 34 seconds. Now, look at the sink area. Mr. Coleman, you see that?
Yeah.
You were asked to zoom in on that area by the defense, right?
Yes, sir.
That was one of the areas they wanted you to specifically focus on, right?
That's correct.
Right, and in that particular portion of the zoomed in sink area, there appears to be a hand coming into view, correct?
Yes.
All right. Continue to play the video. Please pause the video. Now we're now back to timestamp 7:33 and 15 seconds, correct? And we just saw what appeared to be more shadows, which you had focused on earlier during that kitchen sink area, right? Okay. Please continue the video. Pause the video. Did you see any shadows and reflections in the mirror, in the sink area just then during what that dust and cloud obscuring the camera?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Please continue. Please pause the video, Mr. Coleman. You've now switched the camera angle to channel 2, correct?
Yes.
And this is now at timestamp 7:36 and 03 seconds. And this appears to show the interior of a door, right?
Yes.
Okay, continue playing. Okay, Mr. Coleman, you can pause the video and have a seat. Thank you very much.
Good.
So out of the entire video that you received, the only portions that you were asked to focus on were what you titled the jump back, right?
Yeah, that was one section, yes.
Did that title come from you or from someone else?
That would be for me.
From you?
Yeah.
Okay. And you were also asked to focus on the kitchen sink area, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. But you received the entire video from that day, correct?
Yes.
You received a lot more of the footage of
Yeah.
what occurred subsequent to what we just saw, right?
Exactly.
And you weren't asked to enhance anything else other than what we just saw in the video, right?
That's correct.
For example, when the police arrived, you weren't asked to enhance any of that, correct?
Objection, Judge.
Overruled.
You weren't asked to enhance the police arrival, correct?
No.
All right. But that was a part of the footage you received, correct?
Yes.
All right. You weren't asked to enhance when the police escorted Isabel out of the apartment, were you?
No.
Right. And we don't need any enhancements to see that, do we?
Objection, Judge.
Sustained.
Nothing
Ladies and
further.
gentlemen, please remember that the burden of proof always rests with the state of Florida. Any further questions from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any redirect, excuse me.
Real quick. Just so I'm clear on this, Mr. Coleman, everything that we provided to you, who did we get it from?
Prosecution. So.
So what the prosecution just talked to you about things that we didn't ask you to do, they had everything that we gave you, correct?
That's correct.
Sustained. Please ask open-ended questions.
To your knowledge, the evidence that was given to you was provided to us by whom?
Prosecution.
By the prosecution. Give me 1 second, Judge. No further questions, Judge.
Mr. Coleman, you are excused.
Yeah, I'll get the seat. Your Honor, our next witness, we have some,
Call your next witness.
sure, Judge, the defense calls Dr. Michael Baden. We have some things in the jury room, the Etzels and stuff for us to put demonstratives on.
I wish you had kept them outside of the courtroom, ladies. I'm sorry to ask you to stand again. Please bring everything out of the jury room that you need now.
Yes, Judge.
Judge, may we have 5 copies?
Yeah. Well, I just want to monitor what's happening. I don't want to turn away. Yes. Van, if you want to come set up over here in anticipation. Is there anything else in the jury room?
Nothing else, right?
Ladies, I apologize. Let's go sidebar. Doctor, if you would please come forward to be sworn.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm?
Please. I apologize, Doctor.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may have a seat.
Thank
Or if you would kindly take a seat here. Doctor, if you'll just make sure all of your answers are verbal out loud so all of our jurors can hear you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Zaganeh,
Actually,
you
it's Mr. Padilla's witness. I'll get him right now.
come in, please.
Maybe I can get some water.
You may be seated, and I will ask my bailiff to bring you some. Thank you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Doctor, could you please state your name for the jury?
Michael Baden, B-A-D-E-N.
And your occupation?
I'm a physician, forensic pathologist, medical examiner.
And can you give the jury a little explanation as to your education?
I received a Bachelor of Sciences degree from the City College of New York, 1955. I was then intern. I then went to medical school at New York University School of Medicine in New York City, Bellevue Hospital. Began working on a part-time basis for the medical examiner's office in New York City as an assistant medical examiner while a resident doctor at Bellevue. When I finished my training in 1965, chief resident, fellow in pathology, I became a full-time medical examiner for the city of New York. I stayed there until 1985, holding many positions, including that of chief medical examiner for the city of New York. I then transferred to the New York State Police and was the chief forensic pathologist for the New York State Police for 25 years. I retired from that position in 2011, and I've been a medical examiner in forensic pathologist in private practice since.
In addition to being a practicing forensic pathologist, did you also have the opportunity to teach other pathologists?
Yes, in the course of my training, I taught medical students, residents, and other medical examiners. I was active in many of the forensic medicine, forensic pathology organizations, president of the Society of Medical Jurisprudence, vice president of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences, which is the umbrella agency for all the different forensic sciences, pathology, toxicology, fingerprints, crime lab,
part of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences.
What
I've been a professor, visiting professor, having various, at times, in a number of medical schools, teaching forensic pathology, and also in law schools, teaching how forensic pathology can assist the criminal justice system in New York Law School and NYU Law School.
And can you give the jury an idea of how many publications and what type of publications you've been published, your work has been published in?
Over the years, I've been involved with more than 85 publications on forensic pathology and books and book chapters on aspects of pathology and forensic pathology.
What board certifications do you have?
I have board certifications in pathology in 3 areas. Anatomic pathology, which has to do with the anatomy of the body, with whether cells under the microscope are cancer cells or not, whether there are any anatomical abnormalities in the body, somebody gets hit by a car or involved with a homicide, it's a forensic pathologist who has to identify what the abnormalities are. So that's anatomic pathology. Clinical pathology, which has to do with the chemistry of the body. Toxicology is part of that, which is very important in medical examiner function. Yeah. And forensic pathology, which has to do with unnatural conditions that affect the body, which is accident, suicide, homicide, are the 3 areas of unnatural death. The regular pathologist is confined to natural diseases. 92% of people die of cancer, heart disease, kidney disease, and people who are anatomic and clinical pathologists are expert at that and do hospital pathology. But if somebody may have died of a drug overdose or some type of injury, that's the expertise of the forensic pathology, who takes further training after anatomic and clinical pathology. And pathology is one of the 25 specialties in medicine: surgery, internal medicine, pediatrics, and that's the specialty that's involved with finding out what's wrong with the body, not treating patients. We don't treat patients. We find out what's wrong with the patient through biopsies, through clinical chemistry in the hospital, sugar too high, PSA too high, and then give that information to the treating physician, who then does surgery, gives medicines, etc.
You spoke about some of the publications that you've been published in. Besides that, have you been involved in other types of media or news programs?
Yeah, I started back in 1990.
Sustained.
How many times have you testified in your career as an expert in the area of forensic pathology?
In the more than 50 years we've been doing this, over 1,000 times, giving court testimony or deposition testimony, certainly involving forensic pathology.
And as a forensic pathologist, if you have to throw a number of the number of autopsies that you've performed and or supervised, is it easy for you to come up with a number?
Yeah, I've performed more than 20,000 medical legal autopsies, forensic autopsies, and supervised twice that number when other people did the autopsies, and we're training and residents, and I, as a medical examiner, had to go over it and make sure that it was done right.
And you spoke about the governmental appointments that you've had?
Yeah, I've had a number of governmental appointments in addition to my job as a medical examiner in New York City and New York State. On the mayoral level, I was appointed by the mayor to various committees on drug abuse, suicide, child abuse, the kind of thing that medical examiners have expertise in because of the autopsies we do and the investigations we do. On the state level, I've been appointed by about 7 or 8 different governors to commissions that that look into all deaths that occur in jails, prisons, lockups in New York State. And also to investigate deaths that occur in mental hygiene facilities or facilities for the mentally or physically disabled, where the governor has set up programs to look into health care and deaths in those institutions under governmental supervision. On the national level, I was appointed the chairman of the Forensic Pathology Panel of the United States House of Representatives Select Committee on Assassinations that was set up in 1977 to review and re-examine the deaths of President John F. Kennedy and Dr. Martin Luther King. I was also appointed by various state governments to look into cases. In Mississippi, I was appointed to review the death of Medgar Evers, who was a civil rights leader who was...
Sustained.
Thank you, Doctor. We'll move on. And could you give the jury an idea of how many states in the United States you've actually been qualified as an expert while testifying in cases?
Yeah, in most of the United States.
Okay.
And other countries.
When you became involved in this case, what documentation did you review to be able to come up with the opinions that you have today to share with the jury?
May I check my report that I list those? I was provided by you, by your office, the autopsy report and toxicology report of Jennifer Alfonso, scene and autopsy photographs of the taken by at the medical examiner's office and the police department, the autopsy x-rays, police reports, firearms and tool mark report, a crime scene bloodstain pattern report, scene videos. There was a video of the scene that I was provided, and the deposition testimony of the medical examiner who supervised the autopsy, Dr. Emma Liu, and the laboratory director, Diane Boland, that were sent to me. Subsequently, more recently, I was sent the statement that the defendant gave to the police.
Sustained.
Go ahead, Doctor. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, that covers pretty much the materials that I reviewed.
Did you have the opportunity to work together with myself and with Daniel Schumacher in preparation for demonstrative aids to assist you in explaining to the jury your opinions for this particular case?
I did.
Okay.
I met with and discussed this a number of times with you and Mr. Schumacher.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity to, while working together with myself and Mr. Schumacher, view multiple drafts of this demonstrative aid?
Yes.
And did you make revisions to that demonstrative aid?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to show you what we previously provided the state of Florida. Is this?
Please, so the jurors can't see it yet.
Sorry. Is this one of the final products for Series 1 demonstrative aid that was prepared for your testimony here today?
Yes.
That has to be able to publish it for the jury?
Any objection? Okay, you may publish it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a demonstrative aid, not a piece of evidence that will be going back with you to the jury room.
Okay. Can you explain to the jury the different images that were used to create this demonstrative aid. And I got you this little thing. I don't know if you can step down if you wish, or you could just use a little laser, whatever you...
May I step down, Your
Yes.
Honor?
You may.
Sorry, Judge.
Yes, what I used in helping prepare this exhibit was the two of the x-rays that were taken by the medical examiner before the autopsy was done. The photographs taken by the medical examiner before the autopsy showing labels that she had put on the different gunshot perforations in the back of the left forearm, the left side of the jaw, and the upper chest and breasts taken while the brassiere was still in place before the medical examiner removed the brassiere. To assist in developing a image that helps explain some of the gunshot wounds.
And doctor, could you walk them through the shots on the wrist as they pertain to the diagram to the right of it?
Yes. If I may, there are 5 bullet wounds of entrance, bullet entrance wounds on the back of the left wrist. And there are 5 dowels that are referenced by the artist on this left wrist, which aren't quite giving the idea of what happened. This is the actual holes that were made by the bullets that entered. Some of those bullets went to the right side of the chest. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 of these bullets. 2 of these bullets. The third and fourth one come from the wrist by analysis. 3 of the 5 bullets go into the upper jaw, the left jaw. Bullet 1, 2, and 3. And the entrance wounds are here. On the underside of the wrist, the 5 bullets exit. So 5 come in, 5 come out of the inside of the wrist and go into the body. These are complicated wounds because they have multiple holes. Each one has multiple perforations. So 3 of the bullets go upward into the jaw. 4, 5, and there's one here that's number 3 actually in the scheme that the medical examiner labeled. This one down here go up into the jaw. Now this would all match up if the jaw was bent down a little bit. If the jaw is bent down, then all these 3 are right next to each other. 2 of the bullets, 3 go up into the chin, and 2 of them go across into the chest, slightly upward here. 1 bullet goes into the top of the breast, exits here, and goes here. So you can see with the breast, with the brassiere, the breasts are pushed up a little bit. And the other bullet goes here, here, and here into this area. So these 2 bullets go into our part of it. Entrance, exit, re-entrance, re-exit, and entrance into the right side of the chest, and that's this bullet right here. It goes in the lung, lacerates the lung collapses, bleeding internally. These are the 2 lethal bullets because both of them outside wrist, inside wrist, re-enters the lower part of the breast, exits, re-enters, and that's the one down here. This one actually went in higher up and then fell down and was found by Dr. Johnson in blood that had formed in the lower part of the right chest. So those are 5 of the 7 bullets. I could tell from the autopsy and the ballistics review that 8 bullets.
Sustained question, please.
Doctor, when reviewing this particular picture, would you say that those 5 are entry wounds?
Yes, all 5 are entry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And in your professional opinion, are those the only entry wounds on the decedent?
No.
What other entry wounds are there?
There are 2 other entry wounds. One in the right side of the chin and chest. That goes into this one top here. And one in the back, in the right side of the back. That's this one over here. This one is in the back. You can't tell on a single x-ray whether these bullets are front or back. You need a lateral view to tell that. But these 2 go into the mid-chest. This one goes, the top one goes sort of toward the front a little bit, and this one is all the way in the back, this second bullet in the row. So all 7 bullets that entered the body are shown in these 2 x-rays, 3 here and 4 here.
Doctor, the wounds that are depicted on the bottom left picture of the chest, is it your medical opinion that all of those wounds are re-entry wounds?
Yes, these 2 are re-entries, these 2. These 2 are exits, and these 2 are re-entries. These 2 are, right here, this are re-entrances.
And could you explain to the jury how you make a determination as to the difference between an entry wound and a re-entry wound?
Well, it's the pattern of the injury, plus the entry wounds are circular and have a little bit of a rubbing abrasion collar. Abrasion collar is if the skin gets rubbed off and then it dries. As you fall down, some of the skin is rubbed off and then there's fluid, it dries. And that's present along all of these 5 bullets. So that's the classical evidence of an entrance bullet wound. When the bullet comes out, it often makes a bigger hole or a different pattern hole, so that these 2 don't have abrasion collars, even because they're going much slower than the bullet that enters the skin. And these 2 are odd shapes, because the bullet is twisting now on its, it's not going head first, it's twisting, and when it re-enters, it's got sort of a comma shape that's semicircular, or comma, and it's not round, and they don't have abrasion collars. So here too, the bullets here are the entrance holes. These are re-entrance wounds in the chin, coming there, a single re-entrance wound. One goes here, one goes here, and they do have a little bit of an abrasion collar and re-entering because it's still going fast, but they're irregular shaped.
Doctor, would you say that this particular situation where you have 5 shots going through the wrist, creating multiple re-entry and re-entry wounds and exit wounds in the body, would you consider that to be a complex shooting?
Very complex. Those are kind of analyses that, in my opinion, have to be done by a very experienced person who's had a lot of experience, because they crisscross each other and they're very unusual.
And in your experience, being someone that has many years of experience in teaching forensic pathologists, is this the type of autopsy that you would allow a student to perform?
In my teaching of residents, no.
Now, let's talk about this particular figure. How is it that if you explain to the jury how it is that you came to your opinion that that is the position that the decedent was standing in at the time of the shots?
Well, the important thing is that 5 bullets go through the back of the hand. They hit bone. See, all 5 of them, not all 5, at least 4 of them hit bone and cause fractures. And that changes the direction of the bullets a little bit in ways that we can't really predict. Because every time the bullet hits a bone, the direction changes a little bit. So they go through these over here, and the ones that are hit bone are diverted a little bit. 3 of them go up into the chest area here, up into the jaw area, and 2 of them go straight ahead across the breast area. So the attempt here was to show that the arm would be in a position where 3 of the bullets came upward to the chin and just below the chin, and 2 of them, one going more upward than the other, one going horizontal across the chest, all can come from these 5 bullets tracks.
And do you have an opinion regarding the trajectory of the 5 shots that penetrated the wrist?
Well, the trajectories, 4 of the 5 are going upwards and going from left to right. The ones in the chin stop when they hit the jaw. The other 2 of them go across and they re-enter the breast. There's no bones in the breast, so they're not stopped or diverted. So they continue through the soft tissues of the breast, in and out, and then into the top one goes into the area about the 4th or 5th rib and stops in the lung. And the other one goes in and lacerates the lung, but doesn't hit bone and drops down to the bottom. This is the bottom of the chest cavity where Dr. Johnson found it just in the blood, in the blood that accumulated, and not in the tissue.
Now, you're familiar with wound L in this particular case? The wound from the back. Are you familiar with that? With the
That L or J?
The gunshot wound on the trap.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the one in the back. Yes.
Right. Okay. And could you, since we have this up already on the X-ray, could you point to, in your medical opinion, the projectile that caused that shot? Where would it be on
right here? It's the second one down, right next to the spine bone. It dents the spine bone. You can see on the X-ray that it dents the spine bone on the right side. The bullet came in the right back, dents the bone. There's no injury to the spine bone other. There's no bullet going through there. It just dents it on the right side.
And is there a particular reason why we have a Series 1 and a Series 2 in the demonstrative aids?
Well, I think the other group was supposed to demonstrate the wound and the other 2 bullet wounds. Then the Series 1 is an attempt to demonstrate what happened to these 5 in the wrist, and then Series 2 to account for the other 2 bullets that struck the body.
Now, you don't have a medical an opinion as to what series of shots came first, or do you?
No, I can't tell with any degree of certainty the order of the bullets, except to say that these 5s were shot at pretty much within a second or 2 or 3 of each other. That very quickly, it's a bunch wound, and so those were shot at one time. And then there are 2 other bullets that I can't tell when they were shot, but shot at different times.
Okay. I'm going to show you the Series 2 demonstrative aid. Is this the demonstrative aid that we worked on?
Yes.
Okay. And could you explain to the jury the images that we've used to make up this demonstrative aid?
Yeah, the 2 bullets that I that we tried to show is in the first series, there's a bullet around here that's been removed. You see that's been removed. All the bullets here have been removed except this one up here. This one here, which is the same as the bullet I pointed to. I'm sorry.
Here, I'll help you too, so we can have a better idea.
Yeah. All of the bullets have been removed in the second X-ray, except for this one. And what happened, and this one, X-ray was taken. Should I put it back up? This X-ray was taken after the autopsy was finished. Because, see, all the heart and the lungs and everything have been removed. Put it down. Put it down again.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, here you can see, like anybody's X-ray, here's the heart here, and there's a little cloudiness for the lungs, which is the normal X-rays that are taken when we go to a doctor and have a chest X-ray. In the second X-ray that was taken was after the organs had been removed. See, that's why it looks so clear. The heart's removed, the lungs are removed, and 3 of the bullets are removed. One, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 3 of the bullets have been removed. So this is the only bullet left. And this bullet, they took another X-ray with a marking device over it to show where it will show up, because it wasn't found at the time of the initial autopsy. And after this X-ray was taken, this incision was made underneath this bullet hole of entrance on the right. This is the right midline, which is right over here. And in going down, making the incision, there's a series of photographs that Dr. Johnson had taken that show the bullet here right next to the spine, and that's the bullet that, in my opinion, came from this bullet hole here. And notice it's right next to the chin wound. You see, the chin wound and that bullet are really quite next to each other. So that was all 5 quick ones in the here, and then 2 of them that hit in the within a couple of inches of each other. This bullet went down and was the topmost bullet on the right X-ray, and this one was the second bullet, which is here, and that meant to show that. Now, what's missing here?
Sustained. Next question.
Doctor, could you explain to the jury about the wound on the chin and what that indicates to you as a forensic pathologist?
The wound on the chin is a laceration caused by a superficial striking of the bullet at the chin and underneath the chin, so it doesn't fracture the bone. It goes under the chin and into, right here, it goes under the skin and into the soft tissues just above the clavicle, the collarbone. So it goes in, it strikes here, and goes into the body, and this really is with the chin bent down right above the collarbone, the clavicle. And that's why it was shown, it was up here in the, when the X-rays were taken before the autopsy was done, before the bullets were removed. And this one also shows that the skull bone, the skull after the brain has been removed. So this is an X-ray taken after the whole autopsy is finished.
Doctor, you stated that you believe something is missing from this series 2. Could you explain to the jury what that is?
Yeah. X-rays have to be labeled. We don't know who this came from, except the history. But whether it's during life, we all have X-rays, the doctor always has a label on it to say either a name or a medical examiner number here. So these bullets, these x-rays don't have names or dates on them. That my opinion that this is the day after. There was August 9th were the first x-rays from the history, and this is August 10th from the second x-ray, which would be clearer if there was a date on it. See, there's a symbol here, R for right, but there also should be a number and a date. And just to show that it was, and then the detective, the bullet was given to the detective on the next day also.
And you know that from what?
From the detective reports and from photographs of all the bullets, with the last bullet number, the 7th bullet, being this bullet that was removed the day after the autopsy and given over to the detective on the 10th, and it's labeled the 10th.
Turning your attention back to the wound on the chin, that particular type of wound, does it give you an indication as to the trajectory of the shot?
It gives an indication that the shot, if I may use a pencil, was kind of a straight shot, a horizontal shot that grazed the skin of the undersurface of the chin and went right into the clavicle area, right where it was found, high up here, right next to where the chin would be, if I may.
Yes. I'll do it.
Yeah, that first bullet is this one up here, which once goes through the chin, which is right up around here, and then downward a little bit and stops right by the clavicle. This is the one on the back that's removed the next day, and these two are the ones that go through the breast.
Now, doctor, in your opinion, the shot from the back on the top right that we're looking at there, is it possible for that shot to have been caused by a ricocheted round and then eventually exit the wound and appear underneath the rug, underneath the decedent? In your medical opinion, is that possible?
No.
And could you explain to the jury why you think that's
No, there was nothing that was ricocheted. There was a bullet. The bullet that missed the body hit a Formica board in the kitchen. And ricochets only occur over hard surfaces like concrete floor or concrete outer building or a marble floor, and ricochet bullets have a very classic appearance, smoothing out at the point of impact. Hit something at an angle, that area smooths because it doesn't enter the very hot object, and then bounces into the skin. It never goes out of the skin if it hits the skin, because it's the force of it has been much diminished by the ricochet, so it doesn't have enough force to go through a body. But it has a very smooth surface where it hits the hard object, enters someplace, and stops, because it has to go more than 200 feet a second to continue, and it's less than 200 feet a second after it breaks the skin. So no, and the ricochet bullets are very odd looking. They were irregular shapes. This is a round bullet hole as seen on some of the other photographs up here. And I think this is a typical entrance bullet hole that strikes the right side of the spine bone, dents it, but doesn't go through it.
Doctor, let me ask you a hypothetical. Hypothetically speaking, if you're a forensic pathologist that's involved in a case, and some 18 months after your autopsy and your initial investigation, it occurs to you that perhaps one of the wounds of the case that you're involved in was caused by a ricocheted round. What do you opine would be the correct protocol for that forensic pathologist to do at that time?
Sustained.
In your opinion, if you're a forensic pathologist and at some point in your investigation your opinion changes, do you believe that a supplemental report should be done by that pathologist?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you to sit down. Now, doctor, after your analysis and investigation in this case, under a reasonable degree of medical certainty, do you opine whether or not the decedent was standing at the time that she was struck?
My opinion, based on everything I've gone through and reviewed, is that she was standing and bent forward with the right arm up about near her jaw and breast area, with a right angle, with the side of her, the left side of the body facing the gun, the muzzle of the gun, at the time of the discharge of the 5 bullets, and was bent over, as you try to show a bit in the diagram, when the 2 bullets were shot that struck the underside of the right side of the jaw and the back, the right side of the back.
And let me ask you, this is missing the right arm. Could you explain to the jury why that is?
Yeah, because we can tell from the autopsy, I can tell from the autopsy, what was happening to where the wounds occurred, but I can't tell what happened. I don't know what her right arm was doing in this. I know where her left arm was near her on the right side of the body, so that bullets can go through the arms, the left arm and the breast, and go up into the chin area. The right arm could be up, down, holding something, not holding something. I can't tell. So we left it out altogether, so that there's no mistake that we can tell something about that the autopsy can tell anything about the right arm.
Now, doctor, have you reviewed the blood spatter report that was provided?
I have.
And could you give your opinion on how that blood spatter affects your opinion or doesn't to the jury?
Yeah, in my looking at the scene and looking at the blood spatter report, which I'm looking at right now, the blood spatter report just says that there's blood spatters consistent with the victim's hair. Remember, there's a lot of blood in the victim's hair probably from these 2 lacerations of the jaw, and when the body was removed, there was a clear hair blood pattern beneath her, and that in this report, the person who made the report from the homicide unit says that it's consistent with the victim's hair rubbing against there, which I think is correct. I agree with. And also that the second point was that indicates that the blood spatter at the corner of the cabinets was consistent with the blood at the elbow area. So that as she fell down, I think, and then she was moved when the EMS tried to help her, blood, hair rubbed against the lower corner right next to it, and blood from the elbow pattern that was coming down from the 5 bullet wounds, and blood from the jaw was present and caused some blood spatters in that lower area of the oven. So I agree with that.
In your many years of experience, would you say that that is a thorough blood spatter report, or a non-thorough blood spatter report?
Sustained.
Yeah.
Your next question?
Do you have an opinion as to how the decedent came to have dried blood on her face in the facial area and here?
Oh, I think that much of that blood was from the jaw lacerations, and dried over. By the time the photographs were taken, the blood had dried because it's very thin. The blood on the arm, on the forearm, coming from the wrist area, and going to the elbow, and the blood on the side, and had dried because there was thin, the thinness of the blood and the evaporation that went on for the few hours before the photographs were taken.
1 second. Now, doctor, you've reviewed obviously you've reviewed the pictures of the decedent as she was in the kitchen.
I did.
And could you give the jury your opinion as to how the positioning of her body in that picture indicates to you how she may have been standing at the time she was shot?
Well, the position of the body itself doesn't tell me how she was standing, but the other information on the bullet tracks going horizontally and upward, and the bullet wound in the back, gives me an opinion as to how she was standing, because assuming that the shooter, the gun, was held by the person who was standing too, and that she did not collapse immediately. See, it isn't as if she was shot in the head, which lights out and she falls down. The reason she collapses is because of the injury to the right lung, which collapses by the injury, so it can't breathe anymore. So she's had interference with breathing, and she's bleeding internally, and that can take a number of seconds before she collapses. So after she's shot, she can still probably move around for a few seconds and then collapse. So I can't tell from the position she's in how she was standing. But it's consistent with falling backward, buckling, her knees buckling and falling backward. It's certainly consistent with that.
Would it be consistent with one leg being in front of the other? Would it be consistent with one of her legs being in front of the other at the time she was shot?
Oh yeah, yes. I mean, I think at the time she was shot, the left side of her body was closer to the shooter, to the gun, than the right side of her body. It was at a right angle to the gun. So that, but then when she falls, the position changes. She doesn't fall in that position because she can still move around a little bit.
Can you explain to the jury how stippling was part of your analysis when coming to your conclusion?
Oh, yeah. In addition to that, I didn't quite see it in the photographs, but Dr. Johnson, who dictated the case, said that there was stippling in the area of the right side of the chin and of the back of the hand. If so, if there's stippling, it means little particles of powder that comes out of the gun with the bullets. When the bullet is fired, smoke, heat, little flame, and a little particulate matter, being part of the bullet, the gunpowder, come out, and they can go up to 18, 24 inches. So if there's stippling on the hand, for example, on the back of the hand, as was described in the autopsy, then that means that this hand was less than 24 inches from the muzzle of the gun at the time of shooting, so that it was a relatively close position. If she was further back than that, there wouldn't be any stippling.
Could you do us a favor? Could you stand up and for the jury demonstrate what you believe that her position was?
Yes.
Could you just stand up yourself so they can have a better idea?
If this young lady is holding a gun, standing up, my position to the gun, because I'm only dealing with the gun. Theoretically, guns can be up here, can be down here, I can only deal with the gun, the muzzle of the gun. Then I would be in this position toward the shooter, toward the gun, so that the 5 bullets would go in here and go 2 of them kind of horizontal and 3 of them upwards into my chin and in the chin, upper chest and chin, and this across my breast into the right lung. And then I would, and I can't tell if I'm bending down or not, a little bit. And then the gun would be coming at me in direction more at a right angle. This is from the side, my side of my body, and this is more the front of my body, where a bullet hits me in the chin and hits me in the back pretty much at the same time. So that would account for bullets. And the one that misses me hits the Formica table. Formica thing does not in any way ricochet, but causes a little bit of the Formica to get in the hair of the decedent when she's lying down against it as she falls, which she probably falls after the bullet hit the Formica.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Doctor, when analyzing and investigating a case, is the defendant's statement something that you take into consideration, or is it something that you don't take?
I don't like to hear statements of defendants before I look at a case. However, because I don't want to be influenced by what they say. But when I review the material, the police reports indicate that the defendant said he shot his wife in self-defense, and he gives a description to the police. So I did read the material from the police reports, but I didn't read the statement that Mr. Medina made until just recently, just a few days ago, that you sent me that statement.
And is that something that you usually do in your investigations?
Yeah, after I've been able to do the best analysis I can, then I would read the statement to see how much is consistent, how much is inconsistent with what the forensic science shows.
And the information as to whether a defendant or a decedent says that they're right-handed or left-handed, is that something that you take into consideration or no?
Ladies and gentlemen, let us do this. Let us take a 10-minute stretch break. Please remember my orders and instructions as always. Please leave your pads behind. If it is, we'll just say for argument's sake, it is 11:45, I'll ask that you be back at 11:55 at Jose's secret hiding place. Ladies and gentlemen, just be careful because there is a loose wire out.